2025 for him, but ever since we got into Split 2 Slayer, I mean, he really has been the man.
First series win, and we are onto the map, and I don't know if we have time for Gyos, because Xiaohu's immediately snared up, double tap stun comes down from on, and
he's actually going to look for maybe something mid here, just bullying Xiaohu even more.
Well, there goes that flash you were talking about. Does Shun want to match flash for flash to get this stun down? Why would you have to flash if you just chase him an enemy jungle? Shun still wants to do it on his own. Knight trusts his junglers so much that he's like, yeah, buddy, you got this kill secured.
Timers are disjointed. Knight is being looked at here by JJ, but here comes the Grand Starfall.
All right, 2-on-2. Shun has the passive fully stacked. I'm going to flash right on JJ's head. He's using the Crescent Guard to get Shun off of him, but he does have to flash away from a Solar Snare from Knight. So both junglers going to...
Available. BLG are going to have more than enough time to react to it, and a 3v3 might be happening, but it's a 3v4.
Yeah, Elk is going to cleanse the arrow as Xiaohu comes down, gravity field down, Viper and On both have to commit the flash, but the knockups do stack. Encore's only going to grab the support, but the double snare from On doesn't save Viper, he drops, but the trade comes out thanks to the Solar Eclipse from Knight. They pounce onto Jeje, the Crescent Guard only going to buy him a couple fleeting moments as it drops, and he soon will follow. Viper dies, but it's not in vain. You're playing Yunara Lulu scale into a range disadvantage bottom lane. It's tough to make. You have to find unique angles like Jeje going after Viper here around the wall. Love that gank angle. Viper used both his summoners to make that play happen on the bot side, and now he gets caught out for free. There's a positive play for WBG.
Yeah, and Herald is the next logical move. You've got a numbers advantage. Bin is going to be TPing to this top side, but Knight is late. He doesn't have the teleport. But they're burning this down pretty quickly. I think they're going to be able to get the objective. Shun
flashes over. No, does not get the steal. JJ secures. He uses the Crescent Guard to get Bin off of him. But now Bin sets his sights on the rest of the backline. Snare comes across from On as Shun gets pushed out of the pit. Thanks to that Arcane Storm. Elk flashes over one Encore, but he's got Bin to deal with. Snip, snip, go the scissors. Then they can't drop Elk. It's Knight with the Solar Eclipse that finds its mark onto Hong. But Shun now cornered, has Xiaohu to deal with. Doesn't feel to see that, proto belt. Or the rocket belt finished on a Mel of all champ. Hold on a minute. Elk is just walking Viper down. Holy. On saves him though, the shield and heal, and Elk comes up just a couple inches short on the 1v1 and gets blasted to smithereens by the now 6-0 man.
But gets punished for it. Viper manages to live, and now Shun is in a 1v2.
Got to throw up the Unbreakable as the Chaos Arcane Storm with the Gravity Field locks him in place. JJ finds that kill. Zika forces a flash out of Knight with that Unstoppable Onslaught. The Snare's going to come down, but the Scion's pretty tanky. JJ flashing after On, follows it up with a flash of his own, and they get on to Viper once again. Zika gets trapped under the turret, but he's tanky enough to make it work. WEIBO again with a numbers advantage to try and walk on in. The Dragon just getting started here for BLG, but WEIBO have set themselves up in a nice position, trying to find a fight lane, and JJ's going to go after On. The Encore is going to hit onto 4 members across the whole fight. On is going to drop in on the front line, forces Elk to flash out of the pit, transcended with that wild growth as the fight goes completely chaotic. JJ jumps onto Bin, who's trying to dash himself out. The Solar Snare will not save him. The wind becomes lightning, finds that kill, and now Knight is completely pushed out of the fight. Shun with the Hail Mary to try and get the Dragon, gets caught in the gravity field and goes down to Elk. No members of WEIBO dropping. They stop the soul stacking, and they're starting to bare knuckle. Oh boy, hold on. Unstoppable Onslaught onto On. The Arc of Ruin, Elk slow. Transcendence from Elk doesn't really matter. Zika tanks up a couple of turret shots here. TP comes through.
But you can see that WEIBO don't fully want to commit to
not even going near him. Viper is trying to get a bit sneakier with Shun burning it through. WEIBO got to rush into this river to try and answer. They've got their big tank Scion to lead the way. Trying to get JJ close enough for a 50-50, but do you want a 50-50 into a Pantheon? Shun should be able to secure this if he does it right, and that he will at 78 HP. They get BLG on a soul point, and here comes the engagement. Huge Encore from On, clips all of WEIBO, and the Solar Eclipse rains down Hellfire. Here comes Bin coming in with the needlework as well to slow up Zika. None of these kills can really be confirmed outside one.
More aggressively, and so just having the ability to posture more aggressively is definitely something that...
What about an aggressive TP, Quacks?
Yeah, Bin is on the flank.
Oh, Elk, immediately McHale's from the arrow. Bin doesn't like the angle to go in just yet. He's going to rely on his front line to try and burn through Zika. That cripple him done for Knight. Should be able to get rid of this health bar pretty well, and Zika nearly drops. The Solar Eclipse will not clip him for death, but it forces out the wild growth there from Hong. So that key support ultimate having to be used on the tank is pretty costly. And now BLG can reign supreme on the top river. Do they start a dance with the big purple worm? Yes, they do. And JJ thought he had time to go for his red buff, Quacks, but now he's got to pace himself up towards this top river. When can WEIBO get vision on this Baron. They have no idea how low it is. They're now just seeing that somebody's smacking onto it, but it's too low.
JJ.
On's going to use the Encore to try and zone. JJ can't get the steal in. Shun secures it. Cressigar comes down. It won't protect JJ. He's the first one to drop into the fight. Chaos Storm providing some cover here for WEIBO as Zika goes after Knight, but Viper does stay back. Flash out from Bin. Shun's going to be the sacrificial lamb. Elk, does he think about going over the wall? No, he has no vision on BLG here for BLG. All gas, no brakes, looking to play up tempo. Had a couple 50-50s not go Jedge's way. Does Shun want to risk it here as he gets back into the pit? Bin goes over the wall. Good call. Quacks trying to find that flank angle. And boy, is he starting to entrap WEIBO. They're going to go after On instead and just blow him up with Elk. Zika going to go down, though, as the Dragon gets discarded. As JJ with the Cressigar and the Wild Girl tries to hold the front line. Bin into the stasis. The zombie nearly takes him out. But can Xiao get the kill? Yes. Shun finds the double onto Elk. And it has to be Viper stepping up and turning into a Gatling gun. Mowing down all of WEIBO. Viper secures the fight win. Viper to secure the Mountain Soul for Bilibili Gaming.
And he buries his fangs in WEIBO. Flash forward. It's a double for the Ash. Targeted the entire game, but he manages to make up for it. Soul completed here for BLG. And I want to get another fight, another look at that fight there, Slayer. That was absolute. Core is on a relatively low cooldown, so he should have that up soon. Maybe WEIBO, though, I want to capitalize on that timer as we do see Cheche's going in.
The double knock with the Wild Growth. Shun trying to use that Unbreakable to hold the front line here as the Ash Arrow does go wide. Shun the target. The Solar Eclipse, though, gets so much value. Elk is dropped very, very low. Bin tries to get him with the needlework. Elk does get out, but Xiaohu you can't say the same for. And now it's the Vision game to be played. Bin doesn't hit the next bout of needlework, but Elk is split up from the rest of his team. And the golden left hand looking to swat him down with a reflected Yunara W. The rest of WEIBO to be rounded soon as they are running the wrong way down the highway. All they can run towards is their own demise. All JJ can do is try and stall out the BLG rampage because they're going to find themselves the first ace of the game. I've got to catch that tournament with you, Quacks, when I can, because most of the pairings, despite what people may think, I am the younger half, so... we are both Gen Z. We can lock into some aura farming. We're gonna start to some minion max here for BLG on the mid wave. The Encore gonna hit onto 4 again from On. JJ forced to push the Crescent Guard out to get out of dodge. But here comes Bin on the flank, flashing after JJ with the needlework. Shun with the Grand Starfall comes through as well to jump right on top of Hog. And all the WEIBO on the back foot once again as the might of Bilibili continues to be unrelenting. With another multi-man Encore. So aptly fitting. And there's the Baron secured there by Shun. He's going to come through here. Ash Arrow going to force out another Mikhails from JJ. The TP going to come through onto the bot wave. Encore just a bit early there, so On not going to hit it this time. Zika able to walk himself out. That's both bottom lane ultimates off the board here for BLG.
Yeah, sorry, that off from me, it wasn't like panic, it was just my Seraphine impression as BLG are going to keep just trying to wrestle control of this area. That Tribush, crucially, is not warded. I'm wondering if anyone is actually in there to look for a flank. Okay, so no. They have just started up the Elder. Bin, though, is still looking for a flank.
All right, Bin on the top side. BLG going to usher themselves back towards their top laner and let the Elder aggro come back down. WEIBO staying strong as 5, trying not to be flanked and assaulted on all fronts. They're pushed back into that Tri-Brush as Zik has to use this double onslaught defensively, but still gets double tap snared by On. Viper full build, Knight full build means no tank can ever survive the damage Bilibili bring. Frontline gone here for WEIBO. Bin holding off the rest of WEIBO in their own jungle. And now they can finally head right back to old Greybeard to secure the best buff in League of Legends.
And look at their base. I mean, the super minions are doing work on the turrets. They're going to claim one, so one does actually go down. BLG stalled them out long enough. Zika going down. No frontline for WEIBO. They can't contest, even if the waves were in like an advantageous spot for them. So, Xiaohu does dodge that, but... It's Elder. He's the guy going to survive this, though.
Oh, Grand Starfall. He's got a flash and get a wild growth there from Hong just to get back towards his fountain. And with the Elder, there's nothing that will make a League of Legends player more confident than this buff here. The Bellows execute coming for WEIBO as they look for a Hail Mary engage, but boy, does that one fall flat from JJ. The Encore to secure that one. The wave's soon to be cut down. And only a turret stands in the way of another BLG win. They'll start looking for maybe some stat pan to see if WEIBO will come for one more fight. But the Solar Eclipse does ludicrous damage from Knight. He immediately picks up himself a triple and caps off a dominating BLG late game for a extra zest, extra sauce to the Skarner pick. You look at the fact how burst heavy now.
Feel resources they're going to be having come late game. Bin is really going to be relied on to be not only frontline, but the guy who starts the fights.
Oh, you called it, Quacks. Annie Immobile can get shuffled in, and Xiaohu does just that. Catches Knight lacking.
The items that this Annie has in the Lost Chapter. I'm wondering if they're going to go for Drake. Shun, though.
JJ is in a brush, so Ben thinks this is a 2v1, but JJ's going to come out here. Neither junglers have ultimate. There's the equalizer down. Public execution trying to get away from the equalizer. Shun's going to jump on Zika. Flashes galore. Zika trying to get away from Shun. Another dash to try and find this kill. Ben's going to go after him instead. The scrap shield does not save Zika. Can JJ find the trade? Because Ben is just dashing away from this Skarner.
The bleed.
Needs to throw the boulder, but Shun blocks it. Excelling back and pulls Shun back towards the turret, but Ben is out, and now the Nefiri gets over to level 6, and Shun cashes in on 2.
Beverage with chocolate on it. It kind of resembles that. So that's kind of what I just picture every time I think about what On puts down. But JJ is certainly being matched on this top side here.
Love it. On and Shun dueling up. JJ having to flash over one wall, installs impact, rush through another, but the tempered fate will snag him. Shun, does he have enough damage here to get through the protoplasm? The impale comes out, but Knight times the stun, so JJ can't drag them under turret, and Knight will score in the kill. Everybody coming up towards the top lane party. Xiaohu now going to be the next target. Good Emperor's Divide and dash away from Knight, who flashed for the stun. But now they can set their sights back onto Hong. WEIBO getting split apart at the seams, but they'll only end up losing.
BLG, even though they have the superior vision, they don't have the people here on the river. They're going to try and surround them. Bin is on a flank. Again, keep your eyes on Elk. No flash onto this Corki.
Oh, he steals it. Gets it over JJ. Zika TP's in with the Flame Spitter, but BLG can kite back as 4. Equalizer going to come down on Chunk pretty low. Shun about half HP. The Timbers, though, interrupts JJ. His Impale falls flat. Now they're trying to flash after them. The exhaust used. Xiaohu sleds himself in for the Shuriken and Shuffle of Dreams. Tags both Viper and Shun, and the Dragon Steel comes at a cost for BLG.
And I absolutely...
That's because he's covering for the flank. Shun coming over from one side. Knight has the stun prepared.
Flash ult.
Turret already pretty low. Tempered Fate is going to turn off the turret, so Shun can go after Xiaohu with the Nefiri ultimate. Got the pack on top of Xiaohu, and the first shutdown comes across. Stun layered onto JJ as the turret comes back alive. Equalizer from Zika. Not going to get a lot of value here. They're going to try and turn onto Shun, but the burst is there to get through JJ. Zika will find one trade back, but that's the only scrap BLG will give back over to WEIBO, as it's a multi-kill for Knight once more.
One shot, or at least taken out of the fight because they're so low.
Ben, he gets the public execution with no setup needed, because that's just what the best top laners do. Shun will claim the kill, and Elk dissipates from your screen in an instant. They also get the Zika TP on top of that. So BLG up a man with control of the Dragon side. How about that look from JJ?
Bin is teleporting. There's a flank coming out from the Ambessa. They're looking to keep fighting, Slayer.
Oh my god. All gas, no brakes for Bin. And he's found the Spring Tiger that he's looking to declaw. Good dodge on the Shuriken Shuffle. Bin's locked in, and BLG are looking to wrap up the fight. Impale comes across from JJ, but nobody getting close enough towards the turret. Bin's holding the aggro. Bin's holding all the cards close to his chest as BLG walk down another fight.
And they're healthy enough. They're going to claim the turret too.
My
Bin's going
God,
forward.
Ben, absolutely disgusting. He fears no man on Summoner's Rift will finally drop to the turret, but the damage has already been done. And one more auto from Viper will lock it in for an ace at 21 minutes. Elk is under potential threat here as well. Knight, though, gonna sidestep another Emperor's Divide. Knight wants into whatever Ben's eating down on, because Xiaohu can't find any mark here. Impale gonna land and try and get some desperate play back. They do find the kill onto Viper, but Shun gonna get grabbed out in the middle of his dash there from JJ Zixtal's impact, but it just doesn't matter. Shun reloads on his cooldowns, and now he's looking to chop down onto all members of WEIBO. Turrets be damned. BLG are pushing the tempo further and further forward as they find another 5 kills.
The train just keeps chugging.
That's a better question. Oh my God, Timbers drop. Thank God for Mikhail's. That's what Zika's saying. Okay, we got JJ coming through as well. On's gonna get pinched, but soon on the back line. He's looking to feast down, feed the pack, and Zika is the meal. Soon gonna get it out of dodge, create some more space in between WEIBO. Public execution again,
my
blind
gosh.
and dry. Bin still finds the mark. Nice little Shuriken shuffle dash from Saohu to get out, but Shun used the untargetable at just the perfect time. And BLG might just look to end off this game and this series right here. Not right now. They're gonna
Heat, BLG are going to secure themselves the Baron. And they're not even going to reset. Shun's at least not going to. A little bit more, and they should be able to finish this one off. Jeje looking for a Hail Mary play.
Oh, but the Impale finds no mark. And now he's up creek with no paddle. Needs the help of the rest of WEIBO, but guess who they have to run away from? Juggernaut Bin looking to run down
Shun.
the rest of WEIBO with his partner in crime, Shun. Dash after dash. There's nowhere for WEIBO to go, but back to the Death Realm. Another multi-kill comes through for Bin on his Mbessa. And it's only a couple of Nexus turrets left for WEIBO to cling to, desperately hoping for another shot, but that door has been slammed. It's BLG dominance as they may die in the fountain thanks to Saohu's shuffle, but the statement stays clear. Bilibili Gaming are still the best in the world, and they've got another sweep under their hands in the LPL.